DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves all of us, including yourself, especially yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into one framework, one philosophy, one approach, one mentality, one mindset. We wrote a book on the subject. We wrote a bunch of books. One book specifically on the subject, and actually we got another one. We got a whole system manual on this book, as a matter of fact. And all of this, including this daily masterclass, goes under one umbrella that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is the true value of winning. Now, you might think you know what the true value of winning is, but I'm going to tell you what the real value of winning is here today. Now, before we get into that, let me tell you all, or remind you, that I have a text message line where I want you to text me while you're listening to this show, or as soon as you have finished listening, you get a chance to digest it, and tell me what's the best thing you got from today's class, or if you have a question or a challenge or something that's come up in your life that maybe I touched on, or it's related to something I touched on here today, I want you to tell me about it. My number is 305-384-6894. And once you text me, not only will you be able to engage with me, because I spend time every day going through and replying to my texts, you'll also receive my daily motivation text message, which I send out every single morning. It's just a quick message you're going to get from me, just to keep you focused, sharp, on point every day. If you're interested in that, completely free of charge, all you got to do is text me at 305-384-6894. Now, the topic here today, true value of winning. Now, we all know that when you win in life, you get the trophy, you get the money, you get the attention, you get the affection, but there is more to the game than just that. And there's an element to it that is even more important than the spoils of victory. All those things that come with victory, all the trappings, the tangible things that you can touch and feel and taste. There's more to winning than just that, and that's what we're talking about here today. So let's get right to it. Point number one. Topic, once again, is the true value of winning. Number one, the true value of winning, I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm not going to bury the lead, is the fact that you could have lost. That's what makes winning valuable, is that you could have lost. The value of success is the memory of past failure. This is why when you see someone reach success, especially after they have, usually when you see someone reach success, at least a significant type of success, people get very emotional, right? And you see people crying and people telling their stories and giving their testimonials, all the stuff they went through in order to create that success. Why do people get so emotional when they create success? It is not because they're so happy about the success necessarily. A big part of that happiness, even if it is happiness, is the memories of all the stuff that they had to deal with in order to get to that success. All the times that they tried and didn't get the success, all the times that they failed, all the work that they put in, all the time that they have invested, all the attention, all the money, all the energy that they invested in trying to get to this success. Now that they finally got it and they got the recognition for it, the thing that they're thinking about is everything that they went through in order to get to that point. That is the true value of winning. It's all the times that they were either not yet winning, or maybe even, if they want to call it that, in a position of losing. The value of life in itself is the inevitable death that we all face. This is what gives life its urgency, gives life its flavor, is the fact that we all know it's temporary. At some point, every one of us, me and everyone listening right now, every one of us is going to be gone one day. That's the value of life, and that we need to take advantage of the time that we have here, which is really, in the grand scheme of things, a very, very short period of time. I mean, I'm recording this in the year 2021. Most of us aren't going to live even 100 years, but the world has been around, at least in the AD world, 2,000 years, 2021 years already. Most of us are not even going to live 100 years, but we already had 2,000 of them. So for each person out here, our time individually is relatively short in the grand scheme, assuming that the world keeps going, hopefully, after the year 2021. But the value of our time is the fact that it's going to be over. The contrast, ladies and gentlemen, is what creates the value. The value of winning is in the fact that you have lost, or that you could have lost. So reading between the lines of that, if you were in a position where you couldn't have possibly lost, then you didn't really win. We're going to get to that as we go further into this master class here. Sports, for example, is about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, as they said. And that's the great thing about watching sports. We watch a sporting match. What makes it exciting is that you might see two teams that are really good or two competitors who are really great, and both of them, quote unquote, deserve to be champion. Both of them deserve to get the trophy, but we know that not both of them is going to win. One of them is going to have to lose, and one of them is going to win. That's the beauty of the whole thing. So when we watch a competition, we know that there will be one or the other for either side. And that's why we celebrate the winner, because of the fact that they could have been a loser. We don't really put that much, how much stock do we put into celebrating someone who won, but they didn't have to defeat anything to win? Someone who didn't have to go up against any odds, they didn't have to beat anybody, they didn't face loss, they haven't, maybe not have, it's not even so much that they have gone through loss, but that they face the possibility of loss. So someone could be undefeated in wrestling, or undefeated in tennis, or undefeated in boxing, or go undefeated in a season of a sport game. But it's the fact that they could have lost those games that they won. That's what makes them a champion. It's not the fact that every game they played, it was just such a lopsided competition that they were never in a position where they could have lost. What makes the winner so special is the fact that they faced defeat and they faced it down. And it's the same thing for you. The true value of that win is in the possibility of loss. Point number 2. Today's topic, again, is the true value of winning. Number 2, you do not need, nor do you even want, to eliminate the possibilities of losing in life. You do not want to eliminate the possible loss. You want the possibility of losing to be present when you're doing the things that you're doing. Yes, you heard me correctly. You want the possibility of losing to be present in the things that you do. Now, why would you want that? Because games are not really games when you know you're going to win and that you can't lose. Now, if you're playing a game that you know you're clearly the best, and you know that your opponent can't possibly beat you, and you know that even if you just give 25% effort, you know you're going to win anyway. Yes, it's fine. You'll accept the victory. You'll accept the trophy. If there's a cash prize, you'll probably take the check. But is it really that invigorating to you? Is it really that exciting? Or is this something that you're really going to remember in the long run? No, no, and no. You know why? Because you weren't going up against anything. There was no contrast. You knew you were going to win no matter what you did. All you had to do was show up, and you knew you were going to win. That game wasn't really a game because you couldn't lose. Of course, you can enjoy the success, but if you don't have a capable opponent, like that steel man mentality that we talked about a couple days ago, is it really worth it? How much effort did you have to put into it? At the end of the day, it's not really a win if you didn't go up against something or someone who could beat you. Something that I say often when I talked about my 5 keys to great health was in episode number, I'll tell you the episode in a second. But when I talked about the keys to great health, one of the things that I talked about there was, at the end of a day, if I didn't use a lot of my own energy, it's hard for me to sleep that night. And not because I'm sitting there like I'm excited, I need to be more motivated in doing things. I talked about the 5 keys to health just about a week ago, episode 1922. It's that I need to use energy during the day so that I have a reason to go to sleep. That is the contrast. I need to use energy while I'm awake so that when I go to sleep, I actually need to replenish my energy. But if I wake up and don't do anything all day, and then I try to go to sleep at night, I have all this energy within me that has not been used, all these calories that have not been burned up, all these resources that I have not put to work. It's hard for me to go to sleep because my body's sitting there like, okay, when are we going to actually do something here? I know it's nighttime, but usually do something during the day. You didn't do anything. It's hard for me to go to sleep. And it's the same contrast that we need in life when it comes to winning and losing. You do not want to eliminate the possibility of losing. Now, you want to stave off defeat. Of course, you want to train and get ready and practice and prepare and do all the things necessary so that you're in your best possible position to win. However, that at the same time, that doesn't mean that you don't want to get in competition with someone who's really good as well. You want to get in competition with the best. You want to go against the best of the best so that with all your preparation and all your getting ready and all your work, when you get in the ring to do your thing, or you get in that competition to do your thing and you win, now you know you actually beat a worthy opponent. The trophy is not a trophy if you didn't beat somebody else who was equally good and equally worthy of that trophy. This is the question that I often put to athletes, and we can put this to anybody really, is who or what did you beat to get to where you are? Who or what did you come up against to achieve what you have achieved? Who or what have you faced down and dealt with in order to accomplish what you have accomplished to this point? And while maybe if you're at a point where you don't have too many answers to those questions, you can still enjoy the success that you have created, the relative success based on the way that most people look at success. But understand, you haven't really won a game until you've gone up against a capable opponent and won and beat them. I'll talk to you about how you become a champion in life. That was episode number 1142. That you become a champion in life when you're in a situation that looks like you're supposed to lose, but you win. That's what a champion is. But until you face something that could possibly beat you, yeah, maybe you won. You won technically, but did you really win? Do you really feel like you won if you didn't go up against something that you know you could have lost? Not really. It's not even that much worth it to you, even though you may show it on the outside. You know, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Like, did I really go up against a worthy opponent here? The fact that you might lose makes the situation exciting for everyone, because we all know that anything can happen. All right, this is why we get so excited for sports. When we see the best teams going up against the best teams, we know that both of these teams are really good. Both of these competitors are really good. Either one of them could be the winner, but we know one of them is not going to be the winner. One of them is going to go home a loser today. One of them is going to go home a winner. That contrast is what excites us. If every match ended in a draw, sports wouldn't be sports. It wouldn't be as exciting. In episode 1890, I told you that you need exposure, not protection in life. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You don't need to be protected from the possibility of failure or the possibility of losing. You actually want to be exposed to the possibility of failure and the possibility of losing, because the more you are exposed to it, the stronger you will become, the more mentally tough you'll become, the more sharp your sword will become, so that the next time you face a situation like that, the more ready you are for it. So these days we have a little bit of participation trophy culture, which people have fought back against. So maybe it's slowly going away, I don't know. But we have this participation trophy culture and situations where we're trying to shield people from any situation that could possibly put them into any type of adversity, any type of anxiety, any type of challenge, any type of stress. And what I asserted in episode 1890 is that we don't need to eliminate those situations. We actually need to create more of them for people, so that we can build more mentally tough people, so that we can build people who know how to handle stress, people who've gone through what I call eustress, which I talked about in episode 1348, creating and using eustress in your life. That is the kind of stress that you create on your own. It's a good kind of stress, the kind of stress that makes you stronger, like lifting weights is the kind of stress that makes you stronger. You want to go through those things so that you are better prepared for the next time you face a challenge like that, or maybe the bigger challenge is going to come after that. You don't need protection. You want exposure to the possibility of loss so that you can toughen up, so that you can get better, and maybe, just maybe, every now and then, get your ass kicked so you know what it feels like. You know that you can survive it so that you come back better the next time. And also at the same time, we can weed out the weaklings. This is another reason why people need exposure and not protection, because not everybody is going to make it. Some people are just not built for the situation that they think they want to step into. And the only way we can find out who's built for it and who's not is we got to expose everybody to the rough side of the game. And the more people we expose to the rough side of the game, here's what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to self-select and stop showing up. A lot of people are going to say, all right, you know what, this is not for me, and they're just going to stop coming. And eventually you have the people that you want to work with, because those are people who realize, even though they know exactly what they're stepping into, they're tough enough to keep dealing with it. There's a story I read back when I was in high school. There was this high school basketball team in the city of Philadelphia called Simon Gratz High School. I mean, it still exists, at least the last that I checked. And this is a very good team. They produced a lot of nationally ranked top basketball teams. They were a dominant team in the city of Philadelphia all through the 1990s. And the story that I was reading in the paper was about how the basketball coach, this guy named Bill Ellerby, he passed away a few years ago. But he would, when he had basketball tryouts, of course, all these young men would come try out for the basketball team. Now, when you're from the northeast part of America, you live in the city. I'm talking cities like Newark, New Jersey, New York, Boston, Baltimore, Philadelphia. everybody thinks they can play basketball. All the young men think they can play basketball, or at least they're going to try to play basketball. So everybody tries out for the basketball team at these schools, and my school was no different. But at this school, what I read in the story was that when all these boys will come out for the basketball team, the coach now has this challenge of he's got to pick 12 guys, and there's no 50 guys, 100 guys trying out for the basketball team. How do you find out who you want out of these 50 or 100 when you only got to pick 12? Now, of course, you can analyze the talent and all of that, but that can be kind of be hard to do. Some guys might slip through the cracks. They might not get a chance to really show what they can do a certain way because it's just a certain combination of players, and people just might not get a chance to show themselves the right way, and a player might slip through the cracks even though they're actually good. I was almost that player for almost all 4 years of high school. That I had skills, but I almost slipped through the cracks because there was only one guy who could evaluate, the coach, and he could only see what he could see. I mean, he's a human just like the rest of us. So here's what Bill Ellerby would do at Simon Gretz, at least what I read he would do. He would have the players at the first day of tryouts, all they would do are conditioning drills, meaning he wouldn't even bring the basketball out. There would be no basketballs brought onto the court. He would get all the young men who want to try out together, and he would just have them do all kinds of running drills. So full court sprints, suicides, like we call them, or some of you might call them running lines. He had these things called 17s, which is when you run sideline to sideline 17 times, and you had to do it in a certain amount of time. Basically, all these conditioning drills he would have the players do. No basketballs at all. And he would just have them do this on the first day. Then the second day, that 100 guys who tried out, it would be down to about 40. And the second day, he would have them do conditioning drills all over again, do it again. And then by the third day, that'd be down to about 20. And they would just have them keep doing this every day until eventually it would only take about a week. He'd only have 12 guys left, and that would be the basketball team. And then with those players, he would find out who can play, who can do what, and then he would decide his pecking order, who's the starters, who's the bench, who's going to be in the rotation, et cetera, et cetera. The whole point is he would expose the players to the roughest part of his coaching regimen, and he would get rid of the weaklings from the very beginning. He didn't wait until he didn't pick the most talented players and then show them the tough part. No, he showed them the tough part first, and then he just worked with whatever was left. And that team was pretty damn good. So if that story is true, I don't know why more coaches don't do that. I don't know. Are there any coaches listening to this who do that? Maybe one of you should try it and tell me what happens. The exposure, everybody, is your safety. So for those players who played at Simon Gratz, now I played against Simon Gratz in high school and in some outside of school recreational league tournaments. And one thing that I can attest to is those players are always in pretty good shape. So I think it was the truth that he had them doing conditioning drills all the time. They never seemed to get tired. That exposure to the roughest part of the game, meaning the losing or the conditioning drills like Bill Ellerby had his players doing, that exposure is the safety. He made himself safe as the coach. Coach Ellerby made himself safe by knowing that he didn't have any weak players on his team because they all went through a week of just doing conditioning drills and still wanted to play on the basketball team even though they hadn't even touched the basketball. Losing, or the possibility of losing, is the safety for anyone out there because it's the steel man mentality. When you know you can get your ass kicked by your opponent, you don't underestimate that opponent. You don't half-ass in the competition against that opponent. You don't show up not prepared to perform against an opponent who you know could kick your ass. Now, you show up against an opponent who you know you're going to beat no matter what, you might not even prepare. You might not even get ready because you're not exposed. What are you exposed to? Nothing. They can't beat you. But when you know you can be beat, you prepare. The exposure then becomes your safety. Being exposed to possible failure keeps you focused and makes you better because you are more on point and more ready now for the possible failure that may face you in the future. Point number 3, today's topic, again, is the true value of winning. You are only as good as who or what you defeat to get to where you are, as I touched on in point number 2. The biggest wins in life are the ones that carry the biggest possibility for losses. Like I talked about in episode 1142, how to become a champion. The only way you can be a champion in life is you must be in a situation that looks like a losing situation and you win. If you never face the possibility of defeat, then you are not a winner. When life wants to elevate you, you know what it does? It places challenges in front of you to find out if you are indeed ready to ascend to that next level. It will put challenges in front of you, i.e. possibilities for you to lose. That's what a challenge is. and we'll see how you handle it. And the more of them you handle, that's how you graduate to that next level. So understand that as you go through your life, and for those of you who are in a challenge right now, you're in a challenging situation right now in your life that you're not sure how you're going to deal with, understand that facing challenges and setbacks and problems to deal with in life, that does not mean there's some type of glitch in the matrix. There's nothing wrong with your life when you're facing challenges. When you're facing challenges in life, that means you're actually alive. That's confirmation that you're alive and that you're actually doing the right thing, because that challenge, all it is just your entry pass to the next level. Now, you want to go to the next level in your life, what you need is a challenge so that you can face down that challenge and thus graduate to the next level. If you're not facing any challenges in your life right now, I got bad news for you, is that you can't possibly ascend to the next level because you're not facing down anything. You cannot graduate to the next level until you deal with the challenge at the current level. Now, I don't play video games anymore, but I remember when I used to play video games, if you played any one of those kind of fighting games, you had to go from level 1 to level 2 and level 3. What I remember is that to get to the next level in any type of combat game or fighting game, you had to beat the big boss at the end of level 1 in order to graduate to level 2. So if you went through all level 1, then you get to fighting the big boss at the end of level 1, and the boss beats you, you got to start all over again and do level 1 all over again. But if you beat the boss at the end of level 1, now you got to level 2. And now you got to go through all level 2, then you got to fight the big boss at level 2, whoever that boss is. If you beat them, then you can go to level 3. But if you lose, you got to start all the way back at the beginning of level 2 and do it all over again. Now, I don't play video games anymore. That was 20 years ago, but it was actually more than that. But any of you who does play video games, you can confirm or correct me on how the games work these days. You got to beat the boss at the end of the round in order to get to the next round. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. That is the challenge that you must face in order to graduate to your next level, whatever it may happen to be. Let's recap today's class, which is the true value of winning. Now, of course, when you win, you get the trophy, the money, the attention, the affection, but there's a lot more to it than just the spoils of victory. Point number 1. True value of winning is in the fact that you could have lost. The value of success is in the memory of past failures. The value of life is in the inevitability of death. This is why we celebrate winners in life, because we know that they face the possibility of losing, but they won anyway. Point number 2, you do not need, nor do you even want, to eliminate the possibility of losing. A game is not a game if you know you're going to win and you can't lose. Not a game. It's just basically an inevitable conclusion. The fact that you might lose in a situation makes it exciting, because we all know that you could win or you could lose. I told you in episode 1890, you need to be exposed. You do not need to be protected. Exposure is your safety. Being exposed keeps you focused and on point, because failure might kick your ass. Point number 3, you're only as good as who or what you defeat to get to where you are. The biggest wins in life are the wins that carry the biggest possibilities for losses. As I told you in episode 1142, how you become a champion in life. You have to be in a situation that looks like a losing situation, but you turn it into a winning situation. That's what champions do. If you have never faced defeat, then you can't possibly call yourself a winner or a champion. When life wants to elevate you, here's what it does. It places challenges in front of you to find out if you are ready to go to the next level. Handling them is how you graduate. Challenges in life are not bugs of the system. They are features. All right, if you're not facing any challenges, you're probably dead. All right, we'll throw you a funeral. Send me a text and tell me the best insight that you got from today's masterclass. My number is 305-384-6894. And if you are looking for someone who can coach you, possibly to help you hold you accountable, to help you with your personal professional development, wherever you happen to be going, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, click the button about possibly joining my 3rd-day mastermind. That is the only place on the planet where Dre Baldwin offers direct one-on-one coaching, the only place where I'm offering a mastermind. That is at workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can click the button that says join the mastermind. It'll be a form for you to fill out. Fill out that quick form with some background info. We'll schedule a time to get on the call, free of charge. We'll talk about where you're at, where you want to go, and see if we'd be a good fit. Work on your game. Dre all day.